is, and I don't think with 2 lurkers he's going to be able to do that. Flash now teching up to Starport, and he's also getting the machine shop, so he will be getting some siege tanks to deal with the lurkers. Smart move there by Flash. He's going to need them to deal with them in the mid-game, and here comes the attack with the Marines. He's going to take off one of the lurkers, 2 lurkers going down, and Rumble's going to lose a 3rd lurker. 4th lurker will go down. No, it looks like Flash's scan runs out, but Flash has taken down the majority of Rumble's forces, and now Rumble is going to be in full retreat. This is terrible for Rumble. I guess he just didn't have his lurkers in great position, and also Flash had an amazing spread there with his Marines, just focusing fire and also spreading them apart so the lurker spines didn't splash on a lot of them, and that lurker needs to run. He needs to run like those crabs on the beach need to run from my dog Lily. And actually lurkers are actually a good actually a better analogy perhaps than guardians when I think about it, to what my dog does to those poor crabs on the beach. She just picks them up and rips them apart, and they're just defenseless against her. I don't know why they don't burrow, but they just don't. Flash checking the lower left, sorry, for hidden expansion, and now he's getting that control tower up, so going for this very early science vessel build here. He does have his natural expansion up, though, so he probably will have the gas to deal with it. Aspire going up, interesting enough, for Rumble. Perhaps he's very concerned about those early science vessels and wants to kill him, but frankly, at this point, I think he needs to be worried more about just his defense at the front, because he's at only 2 hatcheries, obviously, and he doesn't have any more expansions. He's going to be behind significantly in resources, and he needs to be able to defend his front and perhaps mount a counterattack against Flash. Flash with the +1 attack upgrades for his Marines. No Carapace upgrades yet for Rumble, and Rumble needs to pull off something amazing here, like a slow drop would do. I was going to say stop lurkers, but a slow drop would certainly fit the bill for something innovative and surprising that would be able to hurt Flash a lot. Flash, though, man, he's just prepared for everything. He's got those two turrets behind there in the base, and now the lurkers are being dropped inside the base. That one turret is going to help Flash scout for detect for these, obviously, and now they're aiming for the turret. Flash is forced to stop mining, though, at the main base, so that is going to hurt Flash a little bit. We'll see if Rumble decides to move those 2 lurkers in, or if he's satisfied with just disruption, the amount of disruption he's doing here. And Flash now going to clean this up, though, so Rumble perhaps smartly deciding not to commit with all of his lurkers for that drop, knowing that that drop was not going to be successful. So pretty much Rumble's efforts at trying to attack Flash have all failed so far this game, and really he is so far behind in economy that I just don't know where he's going to go from here. He's trying to pick up that 2nd expansion now at the inside 6 o'clock position, but I think this is a little too late, and Flash once again, I mean, in this game he didn't even try very hard, it seems. You know, against effort, at least when he went for that Wraith Rush, that amazing Wraith Rush, it was Flash trying hard and effort just not being able to foot the bill and handle Flash. In this game, I think Rumble just hasn't played a spectacular game at all. I think most Terrans would have beaten Rumble, frankly, at this point. He's just played a very boring game, despite going for lurkers, just not successful with them. Really not pushing in at the right moment there, and now he's way behind in food count. 49 versus 73 of Flash, and looks like we're going to see an early victory here from Flash. Once Flash gets those science vessels out, I think he is going to just push out, and unfortunately for Rumble, he's far away from getting the defilers he needs to protect against them. This is a risk you take, of course, if you spend the gas and the resources trying to get dropped for your overlords. And oh, Rumble trying to snipe off that science vessel, actually sniping off that science vessel. Nice move there by Rumble. Actually, that may have just bombed himself a minute or 2 in this game, because Flash would have to rebuild that science vessel before pushing out with his medic marines and tanks. But my point is, basically, I think going for the drop requires you to, going for a lurker drop requires you to do a lot more damage than Rumble did, and unfortunately for him, he's going to be way behind in his tech otherwise. Flash now thinking about setting up an expansion perhaps at the lower left, but I think that's already been spotted by Rumble. I think he has a red unit there, maybe an overlord spotting for that location. Rumble, I think, is just teching the hive, but he's going to need those defilers out at this point, and right now he's just going to have to play a delaying action with these lurkers, losing precious lurkers though, and he's got more Scourge out. He needs to do another amazing Zergling Scourge attack on that science vessel if he wants any hope of staying in this game, because Flash is now pushing out. He's going to be going for the jugular here, and Flash, just look at him. He is so prepared for everything in the back. It is not even funny. And this is the thing. Flash is since watching him begin playing, he's evolved from just being a brash, very smart kid who was very good at technical rushes, very good at late game play, to someone who's also very careful. Flash doesn't make the kind of careless mistakes now that sometimes lost him games earlier on in his career. Just not protecting his backfield and really just being caught off guard when he was ahead. Flash really, when he's ahead now, it is very hard to make him lose because he secures his flanks. He doesn't allow the kind of surprise attacks that would perhaps swing the game back towards his favor. And now it looks like the big battle will come in. One Science Vessel taken down though by Rumble, so nice work there, but he does not have those defilers. Still does not have the defilers, and these tanks are just going to be able to pound away at these lurkers with impunity. And this is going to be terrible for Rumble. Flash is moving ahead. Rumble does not have much ground to retreat before he's going to reach that second expansion. Now getting his Defilers mount, but still going to be away before he gets consumed and is able to get the energy up for the Defilers for that Dark Swarm. Flash making a little bit of a mistake though with his tanks. He needs to not get those tanks hit by the Lurkers. Looks like he's not even bothering with sieging up right now. He's just pushing in, and this is the fastest way of getting in. But he needs to be careful not to lose those, not to lose those Science Vessels and not to lose those tanks. And here comes the counterattack from Rumble. This is what he needs to attack. Oh, but Rumble misses sniping that that Science Vessel, and he might be able to pick off these tanks. Looks like the tanks are just going to hold. They're going to take down these There's all the lurkers, and now Flash still has the field, and I think this will be victory for Flash. Flash also with Vulture, so he's going to be planting some mines around the map too. That's very smart. Able to deal with Defilers and Lurkers quite well with those mines, and Rumble now down to just 2 Lurkers defending his second expansion here. I don't know what he can do. Flash trying to rush in with Medic Marines only, but he needs to get that one tank in position. Oh man, Defense Matrix on that Marine, and that is going to be it for Rumble. Rumble is going to lose his second base, and with that, any chance of a victory against Flash here in this first game of 3, and Flash is going to be moving on to the second game where he has a chance of knocking out Rumble and making it to the round of 8. Really, at this point, I think Rumble can defend perhaps with that Defiler, but he will not be able to counterattack, and Flash will just strangulate him to death, basically. Strangle him to death, not strangulate. That's not a verb, is it? Anyway, so Flash, 2 Science Vessels, and at this point he can irradiate everything in his sight. It looks like he's going to be trying to snipe off that Defiler, actually. Yeah, Flash is absolutely being a baller there. Being just showing his absolute pro skills there, sniping off that Defiler. If the game had been closer, that Defiler kill could have made the difference, but at this point it's just icing on the cake for Flash. Flash is going to win this game, and Rumble's going to have to concede at this point. GG coming from Rumble, so Flash taking the game fairly easily. Rumble rubbing his shoulder, perhaps his arm hurts after microing that game, and Flash looking determined as ever, and also unfortunately as sleepless as ever, just looking at the bags under his eyes. He has been practicing a lot. I think this game occurred before the GSI finals, the GOM TV finals actually, so he is definitely very tired. And has been practicing probably for days for that finals. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. This was Cholera, and stay tuned for Game 2.